and thank you so much for purchasing from Tarot of the Silver Moon. For you today, you chose the Messages from Morrigan spread, and this is absolutely one of my favorite spreads. Morrigan is my matron goddess, so I designed this spread specifically for communicating with her. And I am so glad that you chose this spread, as it is one of my favorites. So let me go ahead and show you what I have on the table. Over here you can't see it because of the angle of the camera, but I've got my white tea light candle burning representing spirit. Not just yours, but overall spirit, whatever name you decide to call that by, God, goddess, spirit, great mystery. That's what the candle represents. Next to it I have my beautiful selenite tower. It's actually called a unicorn horn, but selenite is really good for just drawing in all sorts of positive energies. So I always have it on my reading table. Next to it I have my beautiful black tourmaline, which is good for deflecting negativity and just kind of creating a protective bubble around this space. Next to that I have, this is one of my absolute favorite crystals to work with, howlite. I have a very unique pantheon. Morrigan is my matron goddess, and I have some Native American deities that are in my personal pantheon, and one of which I have found howlite is a very sacred crystal for him. But howlite is good for wisdom and gratitude and prayer work. So I just thought that would be really good to add to your reading. Next to that, I have a beautiful lapis lazuli, which is the stone of truth. Honestly, it reminds me, the energy of the stone reminds me a lot of the tower in traditional tarot, where it brings the truth of the matter to the forefront of the situation. So I wanted to include that. Next to that, I have this beautiful aquamarine crystal. Aquamarine is very good for working with the throat chakra and for opening lines of communication on all levels. Spiritual, physical, emotional, mental. A lot of people that are public speakers like to carry this crystal with them. I just thought that would be a good one to add since we're communicating with Morrigan. Next to that, I have my amethyst, which is always, always, always on my reading table. This crystal is used for psychism, clairvoyance, and a lot of times people will use it, will use it for visions during meditation. Next to that, I have beautiful moonstone. I'm sure, as you already know, Morrigan is a triple moon goddess. And this particular crystal is really good for connecting to divine feminine energies. It's really good for healing the feminine part of ourselves. It's also really good for divination, so I like to include it for its multi-purpose. Next to that, I have a red jasper, and since I have been working with Morrigan, she has told me that red jasper is a sacred crystal to her, at least when she works with me. So I included this in your reading today because it has been my experience that this crystal really helps with communicating with Morrigan. Next to that, I have a gorgeous tiger's eye, which is really good for courage and strength and stamina. A lot of the things that Morrigan has to teach us because she is a war goddess. Next to that, I have a turquoise crystal. And for me, turquoise represents spirit or the divine manifest. So I like to include this in a lot of my readings as another way to draw spirit to the table. Next to it, I have a gorgeous peacock ore. A lot of people use this particular crystal for psychism, divination, that kind of stuff. But I like to use this crystal for overcoming obstacles. So I just thought that would be a really good one to include for you today. Next to it, I have bloodstone, and this, for many, many people, bloodstone is a sacred crystal for Morrigan. It's really good for healing the body and for stopping bleeding, stopping hemorrhaging, that kind of thing. It's really good for overall physical health. Next to that, I have one of my favorite crystals, fluorite. And this is kind of a rainbow fluorite. It's got green and purple in it. Fluorite is really good for just balancing different energies, balancing work and play, balancing feminine and masculine, balancing teacher, student, just balancing energy overall. Whatever needs to be balanced, it will help you do so. And finally, I have my beautiful clear quartz crystal. A friend gave me this crystal, and this one is always, always, always on my table. Clear quartz is very unique. It has the inherent quality of clarity, but it can be charged for any purpose. It's a very interesting and unique crystal to work with. And again, I know you can't see it because of the angle of the camera, but over here I have a stick of dragon's blood incense burning, which is very good for cleansing and protection. And Morrigan asked me to burn that for you today. So the deck that I chose for you, since you did not specify, which is fine, is the House of Night Oracle from PC and Kristen Cast. I don't know if you've read the House of Night novels. It's one of my favorite series. It's based on a lot of mythologies from across the world, but it's set in a modern setting. So it's one of my absolute favorite decks to work with. It's beautiful. A lot of people don't like it because it's kind of generic seeming, but if you've read the books, then you'll understand a lot more of the messages like I do. So let me go ahead and start shuffling. I'm just thinking about you and what you told me, how you've had some experiences with Morrigan recently. And let's see what she has to tell you. And like I always do, I just shuffle until I'm told to stop. So unfortunately, this can take a little bit. Alrighty, so the first card in the spread represents your past, and we have message. As you can see on this card, there is an image of a raven, which is a very sacred animal to Morrigan. I love when this card shows up because it represents you being able to hear your guides. Not very many people listen, but they are able to hear. The fact that you bought this reading and that this card is showing up tells me that you heard Morrigan and you listened. And you're still trying to listen, which is very awesome in my point of view. I am also a sucker for numerology, and the number on this card is 45, which reduced becomes 9, which is a sacred feminine power number. It's 3 times 3, which is another indicator that Morrigan is definitely trying to reach you and definitely trying to work with you. So the next card in this spread represents your past. And we have, your present. Wow. Okay. So for your present, we have Fragment, card 15. This card kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies when it shows up. Not because it's negative, but because it usually means that there is a fragmentation of self, where the mind separates from the spirit, or the emotion separates from the mind. Just that overall feeling of not being completely there. And I can feel that you're experiencing that right now. When a goddess or god first comes to us, you know, a lot of times it can be very overwhelming. I know when I first met Morrigan, I didn't seek her out. She sought me out, and it was very overwhelming to me. I felt very humbled, and I felt very, very not like myself. I did feel kind of fragmented, but after working with her for a little bit, things got easier, and she really helped me a lot. And I can already tell that she's really trying to help you with something. When she came to me, I had just started on my own personal path of Wicca. I do not call myself a witch because I don't do spell work. I do prayer work. But when she first came to me, it was almost like my world had been shattered. I had just started on this new path when I had been raised in a very Christian setting. My parents never tried to shove their religion down my throat, but it was always very prevalent in my day-to-day life. And so I feel like you are having the same issues, where this being comes to you, you know, she came to you, and you don't know how to react because it's not something you've ever experienced before. So I completely get it, and I am so glad that Morrigan is trying to help you with this. So on to our third card. It represents your personal responsibility. What is it that Morrigan is assigning to you? 28, reminder. On the card, it's a stone slab, and it says, don't forget. Whenever I see this card, it confuses me in spreads for myself, because I know that there's always something that I forgot to do. But I don't know if you are familiar with very many animal totems, but my main totem is the lynx, which is the secret keeper. So when this card shows up for me, it is a personal reminder to work with my own totem and to embrace the power inherent in that totem. And I feel like Morrigan is giving you that same responsibility to explore the different power sources available to you, especially your totems, gods and goddesses that come to you. What is your personal element? Earth, air, fire, water, just working with spirit in general. She is giving you a reminder to work on that stuff, but she's also giving you the responsibility of, once you do that, to be that reminder for somebody else, which is a very heavy burden to get right away. But if she thinks that you can do it, then I know that you can. Alrighty, so our next card is what protects you. And we have Chaos, card 9. Like I said, I am a sucker for numerology, so the fact that the 9 card showed up, like I said, 9 is a divine feminine number. It is 3 times 3. It's that triple goddess energy times that triple goddess energy. And this card, it usually it has an inherently negative quality. It is chaos, but I think in this reading, as the protection card, it is very, very positive. Chaos can be very scary, but like I said, I feel like the Tower card is trying to come out in this reading from traditional tarot. And what the Tower is, it's just that whatever has been built up on lies is going to come crashing down as the truth comes to the forefront. And a lot of times that produces chaos. So I'm feeling like what protects you is not only Morrigan, but the fact that your feelings are changing, that your thought process is changing, that your beliefs are changing. Not necessarily the core beliefs, but that your mind is opening. The fact that your spirit is in chaos right now is what is protecting your spirit. And I know that is confusing as all get out because I have been there. But I promise you that working with Morrigan, even to a very, very small degree, like 10 minutes every couple of days, just sitting and praying and talking to her, it really helps. Because Morrigan, since she is a triple goddess, she is not only associated with war and death, but she's also associated with wisdom, like crone wisdom. Not necessarily the wisdom that comes from death, but the wisdom that comes from age, from experience. And having her reach out to you like this, she wants to share her wisdom with you, just like she does all of her other children. I don't know if you get on Facebook very much, but there are a few groups out there that you can find that can help you study Morrigan, can give you tips and advice on how to work with her. And that might be a very good idea, considering that this card in particular came up. So our next card represents your personal battle. What is it that you are having to battle at this time? And we have understanding. So this card, I love it. Even when it shows up in a seemingly negative position in the spread, I feel like what you're battling right now is that broadening of your mind and of your spirit. It's a personal battle. It's where you have been raised and taught a certain way, and now you're having all these experiences that are changing the way that you look at things, the way that you look at the world around you. And so that is your personal battle. That is the one that Morrigan is overseeing for you. And the one that she knows that you can win, otherwise she would not have given it to you. She would not have brought that one to you. So our next card is what you must sacrifice in order to win this battle. Oh my. This card was inverted, and it is letting go. So when I shuffle my cards, I make sure that they're all facing the same way and that I shuffle them all the same way. So when a card shows up inverted, that means that it is very, very important to pay attention. And this card has shown up inverted. Usually it symbolizes, letting go, releasing the fears and the anger, and just letting your inner light shine. But this is what you have to sacrifice. I feel like it's more career-oriented, where you had a dream of, I don't know, writing or opening a shop or getting that CEO position that pays, 80 grand a year, 100 grand a year, and just let that go. I I don't know if you've seen the new Disney movie Frozen, but there is a song in there called Let It Go, and I hear Morrigan or one of your personal guides repeating in my head, let it go. And I'm feeling more of a block with this card than anything else. The song that is in that movie called Let It Go, the main character, she was born with ice magic. And her entire life she has had to keep it under wraps. And so finally, when things kind of blow up in her face, she goes off on her own and she sings this song and she just lets her power out. And what she creates is this amazing ice castle. It's a castle made entirely of ice, and it all came from her. So I keep hearing that let it go, and I feel like that's what Morrigan wants you to do. There is a power inside you, whether it is fire, ice, water, wind, whatever it is. It could just be the power to heal with love. Okay? I'm hearing her repeat this, and that's the impression that I'm getting, is that whatever that power is that you have been holding in because of what your family and your peers have taught you and told you throughout the years, that you need to just let it go. You know, let your own light shine. Let the beauty of your personal power shine through. And I feel like that is another big part of your battle of understanding. It's not only understanding what it is that's happening with the deities and the powers around you. It's understanding your own power and just figuring out how to let it go. You know, the number on this card is 22, which reduces to 4, which is the ultimate number for balance. And it is also the number of the main elements: earth, air, fire, water. Those are the 4 elements that we live on. And so I just feel like it's very important that you think on this card and meditate on it and just really figure out and come to understand what it is that Morrigan is trying to tell you with this particular card. Okay? So our next battle, or next card, represents your passion. What is it that you are passionate about? Okay. This one is inverted as well. And we have lust. Let me show it to you right side up. Beautiful man. But inverted. What I'm feeling with this card is not so much a block for physical intimacy, but more of just, you have a passion for love as love really is. Love is not always physical. It is not always verbal. It is not always mental. It's very emotional. It's very emotion driven. True love is very emotion driven. And that's what I'm feeling that you're passionate about, is just love and be loved. You know, it's a very good card to get. And I really do, I love seeing this show up as what you are passionate about. It's that giving of yourself to help others. You know, giving of your heart, giving of your time, giving of your wisdom, your knowledge, you know. And I love seeing this. Morrigan sees the beauty inside of you, and she wants you to let it out entirely. She wants you to just let it go. Let the world see who you are, not what they think you are. Alrighty. Our next card represents your emotions. We have Deceit, Neferet. So, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of tower energy around your reading today. And this card basically just summed up everything that I am feeling with this reading. Morrigan seems to have come to you in a time of crisis, when you have realized that someone or something in your life is not how it was before, because you know that it was not true. And you're feeling deceived. I don't know if it's by your parents or by a lover or a sibling, a best friend, a coworker, a belief system. I don't know what it is for sure that is bothering you, that has hurt you, that's making you feel this deceit. But Morrigan is saying that is where your emotions are right now, and I know that she wants to help with that on a very deep level. Morrigan is a very unique goddess. A lot of people associate her with war, but if you read up on some of the mythology around her, she was also very much a woman. She loved a man, and he hurt her very much. And being in the position that she was in, she was able to punish him for it. And the thing of this is that if it's a person that has hurt you like this, that has made you feel like they have just completely deceived you, that they made you think they were something they were not, that you have the power to punish them, in that you can just walk away and say, I don't need to take this. I don't deserve this. And I deserve a hell of a lot better than you. And you can just walk away from it. Just let it go. She is still repeating, let it go, in my head. So, alrighty. For our next card, we have your personal victory. And we have Forbidden. So I'm feeling with this card like your personal victory will be that you find that place inside of yourself, that power that was once forbidden to you because of the people around you that were telling you to believe a certain way, or to think a certain way, or to do certain things, and to not do other things. Like I know some parents don't want their children to become singers, or they don't want them to become dancers because they think that there's no money in it, when in all actuality that's not the reason that the child wants to pursue that particular dream. So for me, looking at this as your personal victory, I am so happy to see this, that you will access that power and that energy and that just inner beauty within you, and you will come to understand it. That is what is so awesome about this, is that you will come to understand it, and it will just become a part of your life, a part of your daily life. And it's all because Morrigan decided that she wanted you as one of her daughters. Alrighty, our last card is Looking Ahead, or the future, probable future card. And we have the Moon. So here Morrigan has just reiterated everything that we have already said with this reading. That you're struggling to find that power, and you're struggling to just let it go. But the moon is not only a symbol for the goddess, it is a symbol for women in general. As the moon cycles from month to month, we do too. And as the moon pulls the tides, women are also very emotional creatures, and water is the element of emotion, but it is also the element of healing. So what I am wondering with this is if water is one of your primary elements. Water is my primary element, and I struggle with emotion a lot. I struggle with personal healing a lot, but I have deities and personal guides who help me through it. They help me to realize and understand my own personal power and how to release it in a productive and creative way that doesn't end up harming anyone, especially myself. So for your future, working with Morrigan, she wants to help you really, find and release the inherent power within you, and to help you understand it. And I'm feeling from this moon card a lot of night energy. It's that mystery and magic, which is also associated with Raven, which is, as I said, one of Morrigan's main totem creatures. So I'm just seeing a lot of really good things coming from this, and I really hope that this helps. If you have any further questions, please feel free to message me. And I am sending you lots of love and light, and I will see you soon.